know, permanent business license is a tough act to achieve in the city. Getting a hearing is the first step to getting it. Well, temporary business license is technically the first step, but the final first step is your hearing. What's going to happen is these two individuals behind me are going to make a presentation to all of us here. And then at the end, after their presentation, the people in the front row are going to ask questions. We'll each ask 1 or 2 questions each of them. And then at the end, we will get together and discuss to see if we should approve their business license and make the final decision. A permanent business license is a serious thing in the city. It pushes your business to the next level. It's what any business should aim to achieve. Any business that, works hard and has serious activity and intermingles with the citizens in the city and has events and adds value, should really push to go for their permanent license.
You hired him.
Who's that?
He gave me a
just pant?
SoundCloud card prior to the last open court, Mr. Mills.
A what?
The last open court.
What did he give you?
He gave me a SoundCloud card with his name on it, something like Folded Foreskin or something. It's his rapper name, apparently.
Oh. Right. Anyway, so permanent business licenses should be what people aim for, and they're not easy to achieve. So I wish you all of the best of luck. Wow us with your presentation. I hope there are charts. We like charts, right, Pierre?
I like pictures.
Yes.
All right. I guess I'll kick us off here. I am Tommy Morello. I'm a corporal for the Los Santos Police Department. I am the founder of Edible Encounters, as well as the founder of Morello Motors. To my right is my Chief Financial Officer, Riley Miller. If you want to say hello.
Hello.
And then to my left is one of my managers, Joel the Flam, if you want to say hello.
What?
Hello.
Also known as Slimmy. Edible Encounters has been operating.
Yes?
Does he need to cough?
I don't know,
Possibly.
Are you okay there? It has been operating.
Sorry, I had the cough. In the city for around 2 months. It's been a great time. It's been honestly a blast being able to provide everybody with a product that I felt that the city needed. It's great for stress relief, great for just having fun, but there's also a lot of really good medicinal applications that it has, and so I feel like this has been a good thing for the city. It's been very good for people getting to know each other too. I know that it's helped me make a lot of new friends in the city. Like for example, Slimmy, I don't think I ever probably would have met you had I not decided to go into this venture. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with our mission statement. So at Edible Encounters, it is our goal to provide consumers with a quality, high, but also customer service through our baked method. Miller, if you want to go over our baked method.
Yeah. So baked would be an acronym for so it's B for best pricing. We always make sure that we have fair pricing, take feedback from our customers into account so that we can keep our customers happy, all at the same time while doing what we need to run the business. A, act professional. We always try to keep a good professional relationship with our customers. K, kill them with kindness. So just we're always friendly, making sure that we have good relations
Hello?
with them. And then E for edibles to seal the deal. I mean, it's in our name, Edible Encounters, so we do sell edibles as well as just pre-rolls. And then D, don't waste your commission at one place. The money that we make when we do sell, we take it back and we'll invest to help better grow the business.
In addition to that, we really want to strive to make this a quality workplace for anybody involved. We really think that it should be something to, to look forward to as a potential job with me, just because of the nature of our products and who we deal with and how we deal with people on a daily basis. It really is a great job, and so I think that providing people with the means to interact with others like we do, this is a great place to work. And I don't know if Slimmy here wants to say anything about that.
Oh, I personally, since I started working with Tommy, I've met a lot of new people. I personally have a lot of anxiety around meeting people, and Tommy has opened me up with this job opportunity and has shown me a lot personally on how things should be ran, and I appreciate him and
All right,
Riley a lot.
thank
for
you.
it.
I will go into our founding and what really inspired me to launch this company. So I was inspired to launch Edible Encounters because I noticed kind of a problem in our community as an LEO, and that was the illegal drug market. Before I came around, there was really no way to legally obtain marijuana, and so that led to kind of a large black market, which is one of the first things that I noticed is, you'd pull somebody over and they'd have these drugs on them, and it's like, well, where do they get these drugs? Obviously from drug dealers, right? But the problem is that when I pulled people over and they had drugs on them, they weren't marijuana, it wasn't CBD, it was heroin, it was meth, it was cocaine, it was all these really, really bad, narcotics that just, the use of which is very detrimental to somebody's health. And so I thought to myself, I said, why are people going to these vices? Why are we electing to pursue this mode of stress relief? And then it dawned on me, while there are several dispensaries in the city, they're all closed. There's no place for you to really get your rocks off in the prescription cannabis industry. And so that's why I elected to step in and fill that gap, because I felt that there was a need. Obviously, as an LEO, operating within the confines of the law is very, very important to me. Which is why I do my best to work hand in hand with all of the departments, especially the state police, given their position in the state. I really just want to provide an example of what it's like to be a clean and legal dispensary across the state, and that's my mission here. It's just to lay down the blueprint for anybody who chooses to follow in my footsteps. It is nice now, as I have a little bit of a monopoly. There is another company, Have a Nice J, run by, I believe his name is Mr. King. I've spoken with him. I haven't really seen him around much. I don't know what he's doing with that company, but as it stands right now, I pretty much have a monopoly in the industry, which is something that obviously I enjoy, but it is not something that I look to maintain forever. And so I feel that by showing whoever follows in my footsteps how to do it correctly, I think that it's going to be very good for the city. Moving on, we're going to move down to our methods, how we get things done here. So what's unique about our dispensary is that it is mobile. It's not necessarily mobile so much in the fact where we will deliver it to your house, but it is mobile in the fact that we will move to wherever the customers are. I'm gonna go ahead and do we have like a projector here? You want me to just hold up a picture?
You can upload the documents or whatever, your pictures, to the media server.
Okay. If you look at that media server, I don't know if any of you have smartphones. I've just uploaded a couple pictures. In the first picture, you can see our fleet. It is, colored accordingly. A lot of people love it. I've also offered people discounts in exchange if they roll around in a green car. I give them a pretty hefty discount just because I think that's kind of cool to see. We've got a Camacho. The original Surfer van is there. That's where this all started. That's also my logo. A camper, we take that on longer sponsored trips. It's got air conditioning. It's nice. It keeps the employees out of the sun for too long. Our Sanchez, that's kind of like a PR vehicle, but it does have a practical use. We did one time have a little bit of a party on top of Chiliad, and so that was very useful to get up there. The Hustler, it's the coupe-looking vehicle. That's more of a show car. It does wheelies. It's pretty cool. People love it. The Pony, the black van there. Obviously, that does not have the right company name on it. I purchased that from a closing dispensary. But it's just kind of a fun little thing to have, because it has a marijuana leaf on it. And then the Ellie, that's another show car. People just kind of like to look at that. So with these vehicles, I think it is very important to kind of announce yourself in an industry like this. And that's exactly what these cars do. You show up on a scene, and then you see obviously 3-4 bright green cars parked right next to each other, and the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go over there and you can be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And that's exactly what happens. People love the cars. They think they're funny. They've also got pretty clever little plates. I think the Surfer van says stoned, so that's pretty funny. And it's just it's a nice little gag that people enjoy. Below that, Exhibit B, if you'll take a look at that, the shaded areas, that's places that we have set up and sold. The darker it is, the more successful trip we had. Obviously, what's not included in this is Legion Bank. We've been setting up outside of Legion Bank fairly regularly when we can, and that's obviously been very conducive to business because people like to stop at the bank and then they see the cars and then they come over and we have a good time. But that just really goes to show, where we like to have fun and where a lot of people in the city hang out. And so we show up there with our cars, people come say hello, and then we get the ball rolling. It's a very good experience. Miller, I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Yeah. So just going back to that whole, like we typically, the places that we've set up, well, we have our shop, and that one is going to be located. It's 8043, and then so we sold there. Yeah, our most successful it's going to be at Legion Square across from the bank, and that's been very convenient for us, just given that we have been cash only, so a lot of people will come by and they don't know what it is coming up. I mean, they have the ad to go off of, and we'll spark their interest, and if they want to go grab cash, they can. So it's very convenient there. Mirror Park is also a fun place to sell as well. So just going around the different areas in the city, I think, has helped so that we can kind of go to people in around, and we can go from place to place. Another thing that we like to do is when we do see if someone has an event, then we'll contact the business owner and see if we can partner up, and then they can stop by, grab something to help enjoy themselves at the event.
Yeah, it was very well said. As far as the location does go, we do own that shop, like she said. That shop, it does come with a very large sign that says Best Buds, which is a very clever name. It is my intention to kind of rebrand that shop as Best Buds, or rather my shop. So when I open at the shop, I won't be opening as Edible Encounters, but when people want someone to cater their events or someone to just show up for a party, something fun like that, it will be known as Edible Encounters. So the traveling dispensary, Edible Encounters, and then when we operate out of the shop, we will just be opening up as Best Buds underneath Edible Encounters, if that makes sense. Because it is a little bit of a pain if I wanted people to remember one name when I'm showing them another on the front of the building.
That's called a DBA.
Thank you.
Mm.
If you will take a look at the pie chart there, the next little image, that shows some of our most popular items. That chart was made within 4 weeks of opening, so it's got some of our original items on there. People especially liked the Keef Cats just because they were pretty funny, and who doesn't like a nice little chocolate with a little bit of a buzz behind it, The weed cakes, we did that in collaboration with the Bean Machine.
Can you stop talking, please? I'm trying to listen.
They just hand me their formula for cheesecake, and I, put a little bit of a morello spice on it, and it provided a very quality high, and it was very fun for our consumers. It's a shame that couldn't last a little bit longer, but I am in talks with Bean Machine now for further collaboration. Bronuts, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's a glazed donut, but it's it's got a little bit of a kick to it. Very nice products, very nice products. As of late, I would say that we've probably been selling 60% joints and then 40% Keef Cats. The weed cakes and the brownuts were nice, but they were kind of impractical. And people really like the Keef Cats. Obviously, we try to target people with edibles, but sometimes people they just want to smoke a joint, and that's how it is, And so we do our best to offer both. Do you have anything to add to that, either of you?
That's very well said.
Very well put, sir.
So, moving on to the next and almost the last part of our presentation here, we're going to be talking about some of the items that we want to offer as a permanent business, and obviously these are completely theoretical. I've dabbled with the recipes, but nothing has been finalized yet. So I'll just go ahead and read down this little list here. The first up, this is very attention grabbing. It's something that people hear and they go, "Ew, I don't want that." But at the same time, I kind of derived this idea from Ronnie's, how they have Ronnie's soapy water. I don't know if either of you have ever drank a bottle of Ronnie's soapy water, but it is actually surprisingly refreshing. So this product's name is Bong Water. Of course, it is not Bong Water, because that would be gross. That's just the name of it. But the purpose of the name is obviously to grab people's attention. It's not actually Bong Water. It's kind of like a Mountain Dew clone. It's a soft drink. So it'd just be something to to quench your thirst and kind of satisfy your munchies with a little bit of a clever title. Next up, we got Tommy's Bag of Munchies. I don't know if any of you have ever had the munchies. Not saying like in the sense of a hungry, but like those bag of chips that you get from the convenience store, and they got pub chips and Doritos and Cheetos. I mean, those are just delicious. I want to put my own little spin on those. Maybe add some cheddar dust to them. Those would be delicious. And then we got Keef Cats. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a Kit Kat, mock Kit Kat rather. It's got a ton of can of butter in it. Just provide a good time for people. And then next up, we got the Blasted Brownie. So my grand makes very, very good brownies, and she's said it was okay if I used her recipe and kind of tainted it with some of the devil's lettuce, and that's exactly what I've done. And the product is very, very high quality, very, very nice, long-lasting high. And it's just a clever name. And that was something that I had a lot of people talk to me about is when they found out that I sold edibles, they'd say, "Oh, well, let me get some brownies." And I'd say, "I don't have brownies today. I'm sorry. I'm working on that recipe." So this is kind of an answer to the public, giving them what they want. And then the last product idea I had actually came from Slimmy here. Slimmy, if you want to tell them about your Mellow Jello.
Oh, uh, so my mom used to make me a lot of Jello, and I currently suffer from very bad anxiety. I'm very nervous. I'm sorry, but I was talking to Morello, and I was like, we should start a thing called Mellow Jello because I'm a big fan of Jello, and we'll see where that.
Dvorak, you can come up front and sit back here. Thank you. This is my head of security, Adam Dvorak. He's here to field any questions related to security. The last part of my presentation is just talking about our collaboration with other businesses in the city. That is something that I really, really want to do, and that's something that I've had a lot of fun doing. I don't know if any of you were at Reggae Night at Tequila La, but that was a very, very big success. It was also just a great time. I've been in talks with the Lunchbox, Bahama Mamas, Pearls, my son's new record store as well. That's something that I'm really looking forward to doing with him. Just a lot of businesses all over the board. You know, it is my personal belief that sponsoring events in the city is very important. Working together with other businesses is a really big deal, and it's just a great thing for the community. Especially with the products that I have, it kind of opens the door to a lot of new event ideas, like Reggae Night. That was a really good idea. I don't know if Danny Boy is in this room or if he's around, but kudos to him for arranging that with me, because that was a very good time. That was kind of our test run of sponsoring of how we would do things, and I really think that's how we would continue to operate in the future. As far as our presentation goes, I mean, that's really all that we had to offer you. I'm sorry that it wasn't more entertaining, but I'm just trying to provide the details as they are. You know, I don't think there's any need for kind of a witty twist in this situation. I don't know if anybody here, including Dvorak, if they have anything to add. Okay, I guess not.
I can't. Was he talking?
I think he said no.
Goes.
He said no.
He said.
All right. Perfect. So what's going to happen here is that the individuals on the front are going to ask questions.
No.
1 or 2 questions. Not you guys, us. And we will you just have to answer them best of your knowledge, all right? Sound good? Perfect.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, Captain Stone, I think, right?
Sorry, actually, why don't we start with Omira since it's late?
Where's he?
He's in the back.
All right.
Oh, joy. Starting with the guy who's late. Joy.
All right.
Stand up or
Yes.
down.
Omiris, yes.
Hey.
Front and center, ask your question.
Okay.
No. Stand up front, in the middle here.
Give me a sec.
The rest of us can sit down. Just want to.
You just
Name
want to rub it in that I was late, dude.
Yes. Do your job.
I was doing my job. That's why I was late.
Well, do it quickly.
Instead of
Do this part of the job. You're green, they're green. It should matter.
okay, so I'm aware that you've you mentioned at the end there that you've arranged some events beforehand, like the Reggae Night, and that you were planning to do any in the future. Do you have any concrete plans for any so far that are currently in the works, or are they all kind of in the idea phase at the moment? Do you have any that you can kind of announce at the moment that would be soon?
Yes, actually, I do. I can't announce that there's one in the works while there's no date set for it. We have 100% agreed to work with my son there. He owns a very nice record shop in Vinewood. We've agreed to collaborate with him and have kind of a listening party and provide the dope because let's be honest, I don't know. Obviously, we've got a lot of very important public officials here. I don't know if you elect to indulge or not, but I mean, it just kind of it makes music better. So that's something that we're looking forward to. In addition to that, we've spoken to one Mr. O'Myrus about potentially collaborating with his company and doing kind of like a
You mean the man who just asked the question?
Yeah.
That's such a weird phrasing.
potentially
All right.
Well,
and
potentially, that's him.
talking to him about some kind of a collaboration where we get people stoned and then take them up in a helicopter.
Okay, perfect. And obviously, you mentioned before that you had a location already. Are you planning on opening more locations, or are you just going to stick with the single location at the moment?
So I have I'm a very, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not stupid, but it's something along those lines. I'm a very courageous person. Um, I branch out a lot. I look for a lot of business opportunities. I try to do whatever I can to provide the best life that is available for not only my employees but myself, and also just give people in the community something to do. I would not exclude that as a factor in the future, but as of right now, I've got my hands full as I am a corporal in Los Santos Police Department, and I've just opened up a used car lot. That's something that I am also tackling right now, and so opening up a second location in the immediate future is impossible, but it's not unlikely that it's going to happen in the future.
Okay, those are my 2 questions. Thank you. I'm going to go sit down behind the judges now. If I can get past Jeffrey.
Really, O'Myrus? Go!
I can't!
Pull them! Get out of the way! Looks like a ginger Scarface.
All right, then we will continue.
God.
Captain Stone.
As you said it yourself, you are busy with police work, and your other companies. Are you sure you can dedicate enough time to your current business to make it flourish?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that I can commit the time that I need to commit. Not only because I know that there's a demand for it, and so it kind of sorts itself out at times, but because I've got an excellent staff behind me. I'd actually like to read off that list if that's okay. So I've got
Sure.
agreements with the following people. Paying them has been a little bit iffy, just because it's been kind of difficult to do that underneath a temporary business license, but they have been paid. So obviously there's myself, my CFO, Riley Miller, and then I've got 2 managers on the list right now. That's my head of security, Adam Dvorak, and then of course my my favorite guy right here, Slimmy. He's a great manager. As far as employees go, the only one that we have really set in stone is Maxim Kornikov. He works for the DOJ. He's a very nice guy. He's going to be trained up in sales. He's got a long way to go, but he'll get there eventually. Also, it is not out of the question. Well, let me restart that actually.
All right.
We don't hire felons. I will not hire felons just because I'm trying to do my best to operate within the legal confines of the law, and I just don't feel that I can trust a felon to sell within the legal amounts at all times. While we have a lot of LEOs on our list right now, I have offered jobs to several felons as kind of a motivation to get them to get that record expunged. One of these people being Jacob Bones. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Mr. Bones. Very nice guy, but he is unfortunately a felon. But, in the future, if he elects to get that record expunged, I would love to hire him on. I think it's a very positive incentive for felons in the city to, correct their ways. And then they got a job lined up for them. And obviously, there's no way to know right now, but I think this is probably going to be a very killer job, as I'm going to offer a very high commission just because I know that it's going to be difficult to work under me when I am working as a corporal when I'm working as the head of this company and as the head of another. So I am not a greedy man. I like to share the love. Obviously, this company is getting the majority of my attention right now, but that might not always be the case. Right now, it's pretty even split right now between my jobs. With obviously my responsibility as an LEO, those do take priority, just given the state of the city right now. But I do not think that will be a problem just because of my staff.
All right. Dr. Tripp.
Okay. So my question for you, Tommy Morello. Now, you say that you have this mobile aspect to your business, correct? Where you
Yes.
drive around, people pull up, they buy your products, etc., etc. Now, I'm going to sort of ask a question and then answer it, and then ask the question for you. So, did you know that marijuana can impair driving performance for up to 3 hours after use? And professional studies have shown that even that number may be too conservative. So, is there at any point where you are at maybe an event or where you're selling or distributing your product, where people pull up, they consume your product, and then wait a reasonable period of time before they leave, that would not put them or anyone else on the road at risk for them driving under the influence of a narcotic or drug, I guess, not a narcotic?
Obviously, this is a very good and very important question. Thank you for asking it. That is a very major concern of ours, and that is another reason why we take our security so seriously. Just because it's not only security for myself, but it's security for our consumers as well. So there are times when security, has had to step in and be like, you can't get in that car right now. You're going to hurt somebody. The marijuana that we sell when we're mobile it does not have a cheaper high, but it's a lot faster reacting. So it tends to circulate through the system a lot faster. In addition to that, we do sell food. There's been one time where somebody did overindulge with us. We just took the time. It took a couple hours, just to talk to them and make sure they got food, make sure they got water. Obviously, safety is our number one priority. I do not want anybody getting hurt, and I do not want to be. It's not even necessarily a liability kind of thing. It's just more so of a common sense kind of thing. I don't want that bad reputation on my name, so we do everything that we can to prevent that.
If I could add on to that, so in almost nearly, I mean, pretty much every opening that we have, it's never really just like a come by, buy and leave. It's come by, they buy. We talk to our customers for like a long time, like at least 30 minutes, an hour, where we're just all hanging out. It's a while it's still like it is mobile, we still they don't just kind of take it and just go. So there is time going by from the moment that they do consume or buy until after that.
And that's another part of our business model too that's very important, is that this isn't just like a stop and shop for marijuana. This is a place where you go to make friends. This is a place where you go to relax and enjoy yourself and spend some time.
Somebody just threw a Molotov, I think.
Excuse me. I'm strapped. You want me to go deal with it?
Okay.
All right. How
There
does
was a blue
that
car outside. Anyway, just drove away.
interesting.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great little segue here into our little bit
can
with
light
our
up joints on
security manager here, our head of security. We take security very seriously. Like I've already said, just given the nature of our product, it tends to attract a lot of ne'er-do-wells, and there have been times where we it gets a little scary. And that's why it is a necessity for all of my employees to have Class 2 licenses, or at the very least, a taser license. Dvorak, I don't know if he wants to testify to a couple of the experiences that we've had, but we've never had to discharge a firearm against the customer. Obviously, we've had, one or two groups of people come up to us who were just looking for trouble, not necessarily trying to interact with us at all. But our main intention is to dissuade people from doing things like throwing Molotovs, and that's by letting it be known that we pack heat. And so by getting the word out there that you can't even work for my company unless you have a Class 2 licenses, I think it kind of it dissuades a lot of the ne'er-do-wells from interfering with our business. And that's really what I want to do. In my eyes, carrying a firearm like that, you shouldn't be looking to use it. I look at it as a kind of a form of preventative medicine. So, just gonna go ahead and capitalize on that Molotov outside.
I passed out.
Robert Red is down.
Again.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I guess those are all her questions. I'll go with mine then. Mr. Morello, knowing how difficult of a business this is to get into, especially considering how we don't give a lot of leeway for these licenses, when applying. Let's say someone wants to approach you with a business proposal. Would you help them? Yes or no? Why and how?
Actually, I love to help people with their businesses, and that's something that I've had the opportunity of doing as being a temporary business owner. I've had a couple people approach me about, hey, I'm interested in doing this. How would I do this? And do you think it's a good idea? And of course, the first thing that I tell them is it's a very good idea, but you got to be willing to put in the effort. This guy over here, actually, he's got some, I don't know if he wants to talk about it or not, but he was asking me a couple questions about his business ideas, but I don't know if he wants to disclose those yet. Is that something you're willing to talk about, Slimmy?
Huh? Oh, I've went to Morello multiple times, knowing how well he has at handling his businesses, because I was potentially looking into opening up a bakery, and I just wanted to get some advice from him and uh, see if he would help. And he was more than willing to help me with it. And I don't really have much more to go on that because I haven't really advanced on it.
In addition to that, in the crowd today, there's also a Lieutenant Omiris who is operating a temporary business right now, and he has he's come to me once or twice, not necessarily in regards to how does one become a temporary business, but just how we like to spitball ideas. I think that's very important for business owners to be able to coordinate, especially with potential business owners, because when you speak to other business owners, it opens up a whole new door, because you know that you're talking to somebody who they know what they're talking about, if that makes any sense. And so I feel like that's a responsibility that I have as a business owner. If somebody needs help with something, I am going to help them, even if it's the competition. Mr. King actually came to me 3 or 4 times and asked me, just things about the industry that we were in, and he expressed to me that he was not so sure about it after what I had told him. But I feel like it's my duty to answer questions honestly and just help people when I can.
All right. My second question. As you know, marijuana can be addictive and a gateway drug. A gateway drug, sorry. So, how would you protect your customers from becoming addicted or dependent?
Did he just say
Um,
gateway drug?
which
Yeah.
would put them
Yeah,
not
she's
only at
fired.
risk.
My fucking question.
What a term.
Sorry, Campbell, I'm asking a
I
question.
don't think that's been a term.
Which would
Sorry,
only not put them at risk, but also lead them into other potentially more strong and obviously illegal substances.
Well, sir, it is my personal prerogative that while marijuana may admittedly be habit forming, I do not necessarily think that is an addictive drug, and that is the same way that the federal government has seen it as of late. Um, but given that, I look to the state to kind of protect me in that area, just because they are the ones who set the legal limit to what people are allowed to carry, and that is what I sell to people. It is very rare that I will sell up to the legal limit, but I trust the state to know that somebody probably shouldn't be carrying more than 9 grams of marijuana on them at the same time. Just because when you start to overconsume like that and overindulge, that's when you start to make poor decisions and form bad habits.
All right. Another question. What stopped you from offering some of the items you mentioned after presenting your current menu? For example, the water. You mentioned recipes, but unless you're refining your own water, I don't know how that applies.
So I don't know what do you mean? I'm sorry, I'm confused with the question here.
I think he's.
Well, you said you had ideally bong water to offer, just like Ronnie's offers their own Ronnie soapy water. What has stopped you from doing that?
So we've been offering Keef Cats, but just because the recipe that I had down, I was not comfortable offering some of the other products just because these are new ideas. These are not old ideas that I had from the beginning. The recipes that I had for the beginning were the bro nuts, the weed cakes, and then the Keef Cats, and those are the recipes that I've been offering. The other recipes that I listed, these are new recipes that I have generated based off of input from customers during my temporary business phase, which is why they haven't been offered, because they're new ideas that I've came up with just based off of my interactions with people, because I feel like this is what people want. As far as the bong water, I would have loved to have been offering that this whole time. I just don't have the means to produce it enough, and I'm looking into that. That's something that I'm looking into. But I mean, the testing that I've been doing at home has been just involving a lot of CBD and soda streams. So I don't know if you guys have ever had the little thing you got it in your kitchen. You twist a little bottle on there, and then you press the button, and then it carbonizes it. It's
Can
actually
somebody go check that out? That's very annoying.
But yeah, I mean that's the only reason that we haven't offered those products. The menu that I've offered you, it's a theoretical menu, and it is a new menu, so to say, because I feel like when I make this transition from temporary license to permanent license, it would be good to have new products to offer people. Just like the pie chart that I showed you, you can see there that obviously our most popular items are just joints and Keef Cats. While I thought originally that the bro nut recipe would be a smashing hit, I was wrong, and I'll admit that I was wrong. It didn't sell very well, so why would I offer something that people don't want?
You have to move. You go faster.
Right. Yes, of course. I have more after you.
Okay, I just have one more question. Oh my god. Just about your sales and your product. What would you say is your monetization plan, and what are the KPIs your company is tracking that you believe will lead to more revenue in the future?
So this is hard. This is a very hard question, and it's difficult just because it's hard to track things like that in this business, because it's so novel. You know, it wasn't very long ago that the city first even offered this this license to distribute. Our monetization plan, of course, I intend to hand over the majority of my profits that I make off of this company back to my employees. I think that's something that's very important, because there's a lot that goes into motivating your employees to work for you. But like I said, I don't want this to be just another place to work. I want this to be the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to fight over these positions, and so that's why I'm willing to offer even more of a stake in my company to my employees. And that goes a long way to motivate, like I said, along with, you know, the interactions that you have with people that make it an enjoyable job. but I cannot offer you any specific numbers until I get a more stable number for just for pricing on our goods and things of that nature. Obviously, it's difficult to offer solid numbers to my employees, and that's something that I've had a conversation with all of them. Like Miller, when she helps me, neither of these two actually have their cannabis distribution licenses, so they
I
are not
do.
allowed to carry. Oh, she does now,
Yeah, I
but she did
recently
not
got it.
before. I've had talks with both of them about how it's hard for me to tell you exactly what I'm going to give you, but it's going to be fair. And my hopes is that by making this a permanent business, people will start to take it more seriously, and I can offer them more solid numbers by planting the flag, so to say, sorry, and just setting a precedent, and making the numbers on my products a lot more solid. And so that's something that I really just have to go with the flow with and evolve with as it evolves until eventually we get to some kind of a resting place in the market where I can comfortably say, this is what I can give you, and give it to them. Dvorak, his pay has been, I give him a quarter of what I make whenever he helps me out. Miller, I tend to give her also a quarter, and then Slimmy, I've been giving him a quarter. So that's just how I've been doing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Udan.
All right, my last question.
You
Um,
fucking bastard.
Don't you think that by both
I said
selling
1 to 2.
drugs and
But
well,
This is
I had
4, by the way. He's
so
doubled.
you can live with it.
it's like
Don't you
5.
think that by both advertising the weapons you carry and selling drugs, wouldn't that make you a higher target for organized crime?
Save some questions for the rest of us. Jesus.
I know. He's a tool of mine.
So this is a very good question. Obviously, I've advertised my weapons as a means to kind of counter out the fact that I'm selling drugs, because I was very concerned about that from the beginning. I did not want to attract the attention of organized crime, just because, when I open up shop, I'm opening up shop, and I have upwards of 50 grams of marijuana on me at that time, and so it's scary for me, knowing that if I do attract the attention of these parties that you mentioned, I could be in trouble and I could be out for a lot of money. And insurance companies don't want to touch me with a 10-foot pole just because of how novel the idea is of recreational marijuana. It is a concern to me, and it is something that I think about a lot. But I think that, having the knowledge that we have these weapons on us, and that I have a trained security team behind me, and that I employ several LEOs, I think that's enough to dissuade organized crime just from trying to interfere with my business. I mean, that's really all I can say.
I mean, yeah, to touch on that, just as in our experience, people knowing that we are LEO and that we do carry those weapons, know how to use them, has actually helped us through all of our openings. There are times where we have suspected that something may happen, but as soon as they realize that we are LEOs and that, like, we know how to use our weapons, if we needed to, they kind of step back from that, and we still are able to maintain that safe environment.
Very well said. Very well said. And as my head of security will tell you, it is never our intention to get into some kind of armed conflict. They are just there as props in a sense. I never want any of my employees putting themselves between a gun and my product. Obviously, I'm not going to ask them to just sit down and roll over, because that might be more dangerous than not putting up a fight at time. But I ask them to use their best judgment. If they feel that they are not at risk, then they will continue selling. But at any times, if we feel like we're at risk, then we will either, name drop, oh yeah, I'm a cop, I got to call my chief, something like that, like something like that. There have been times where I've had to call him and be like, hey, while he's on duty, I've got a couple people down here at the dispensary right now. I think they might cause some problems. Do you just want to come roll down, sit here for a second, and then drive away so they think twice? And I mean, it's a very effective method. But it also is very important to realize that while I'm not trying to profile, the products that I offer, they tend to be sought after by the organized crime, as you say, members of the organized crime. People like to smoke weed, right? And by putting yourself in a position where you take something from me and we're not friends anymore, you kind of jeopardize that experience for yourself. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people want to do. I think that it's good to maintain a professional relationship with everybody, but at the same time, if somebody were to steal from me, or if somebody were to threaten me, then I would not feel so inclined to interact with them.
Alright, Campbell, you can go ahead.
Wonderful, look at that. Okay. Hello! Finally. Fucking. Okay. So, just like a bar, the way that ethically, if someone has too much to drink and is completely, I'm just going to speak freely for a moment, fucked out of their mind, ideally they turn them away instead of handing them another. In the same sort of instance, if someone comes to you and gets absolutely blasted on this, in your store, for example, and they want to keep going and they want to get to the point where they whitey or something, how do you plan on handling that? Do you plan on handling that on an ethical standpoint, or do you plan on handling that from a give me money?
I think that this is a pretty good question that our head of security can answer, actually. I'll go ahead and preface this for him, but you know, we cut people off, and this is where he comes into play because we have to do it in a way that is not offensive to anybody involved.
Yeah, so most of the time with it, when we're selling and giving to people, if we have someone who comes up to us, you know, they've smoked quite a bit already, they're very obviously inebriated, you know, their judgment skills, we try in our hardest way to not sell to them, to try not to give them any more joints, to prevent people from giving them more, selling them more, right? If it's a situation where we're in our own business and this happens, we try our hardest to, you know, be like, hey, listen, you know, we can't sell you anymore. We don't feel like it'd be safe for you and it'd be safe for us to sell you more. And from that point, attempt in a, you know, friendly manner to try to get them to just, you know, leave the premise so that they don't get more smoke from sitting in the store or anything else like that. Normally, we try not to be, I guess the best word would be hostile with people like that, because that just causes more problems in the end. It's a lot easier to just passively come up to them and be like, hey, listen, you've had a lot to smoke, right? We feel like it'd be best if you just stop smoking, if you just, you know, we stop selling to you, if you just left the premise, you know. Stuff like that to try to prevent situations where we have people's safety in question due to over inebriation from smoking.
Okay, I have no more questions. So.
Yeah, all of mine were taken. I literally have nothing. Every single one of mine.
Well,
good job.
Yeah.
You very
it's
thorough.
pretty much,
people.
yeah, you taken mine as well.
Security.
Did we even need a panel? Good.
Yes.
That's great. I'm flattered.
Evidently, we just needed Piers.
Can business
Apparently
owners
visually.
ask questions?
We can open up to the public for 3 questions afterwards. But Hart has to ask a question. She's the one truly representing BCSO here, so...
Which Hart? SASP or LSPD Hart?
Is there an SASP Hart?
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Arms up.
The second bun.
Oh.
Oh.
Which one?
Oh, Man Bun.
I mean, he can take the question if he wants.
No, Chief Hart. you're representing BCSO. Go ahead.
When considering the safety of your employees, how much
Yell.
product?
Why are you so quiet?
I am yelling.
Oh, okay. She's so soft spoken.
I was gonna say that's very soft.
When considering the safety of your employees, how much product and our cash will they be keeping on them at once or at any point in time?
This is a very good question, and this is something that I actually have an answer to. As of late, I've been the only one that's really been selling. These two have just been supporting me. From time to time, they will hold cash for me, but they will not hold the marijuana. But that being said, I don't know if any of you have ever been there when we've had to make a run back to the store or something in that regard. But regardless of what day it is, how much sales we think we'll have, or how many people we know will show up, I will not carry in excess of 35 grams of marijuana on me, just because I know that it's a danger to carry more. That being said, there have been times where we've had very, very good days. Very good days. And we'll sell, I think our record day, we sold like 85 grams in one day. It was ridiculous. And during that time, we had to make 2 trips back to the shop just to fill up on more weed, because I don't like carrying that much on me. I knew that we were gonna have to be making trips that day, but I didn't care, because I did not want to carry more than that amount on me, just because it's dangerous in a sense, and I worry for my employees. That being said, we do try to operate somewhat close to banks, so that way when they get around, like 5 grand in their pocket, we just go and pump it into a bank real quick. So that way that's not really a risk. But it was a very good question, and it's something that I thought about and discussed with my security team as well as my employees, because I don't want anybody getting caught up in some kind of bad situation with more stuff on them than they should have. Because at that point, it doesn't just become a security risk, but it becomes a financial risk for that person as well, and that's not something that I want.
Also,
Great.
will you be keeping tabs on how much people are purchasing per day? Like if they went to the clothing store and changed clothing, would you be able to know that they have already came and bought some from you?
Yes, we do ID. As far as how much they purchase per day, if someone comes to me and they have already bought 9 grams of marijuana from me, which is the legal limit, I will not sell more to them unless I physically see them smoke it in front of me. And even if I do that, if I feel like by selling them more, I'm going to push them to the point of over inebriation, I will tell them no. I've only had to do that once. I hope that I never really have to do it again, but I know that I will. But that just goes to customer and staff safety, and that's something that I take very seriously, especially with something a product of this nature.
All right. Perfect. So, by the way, are you going to be running periodic security checks of your employees to make sure that they are still allowed to have their licenses?
Yes. As I am an LEO, I do have access to the records of my employees, and of course, I would never really access those off duty without their consent. But that is something that we have to make sure is enforced.
All right. So I will allow 3 questions from business owners or citizens. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Rory. I live in Bahamas. So is it
Just
okay?
one question.
Just one question? Okay. So I know that I've talked to Morello previously about some arranged events and stuff like that.
So what I've noticed from working with other business owners is not necessarily, and this isn't something that comes from greed. It's more so something that comes from an urge to benefit the community. Um, I will not hesitate to put up cash pools for prizes on events, just because I feel like that's something that benefits the community. You know, if someone new to the city wins a nice prize or some cash, then good for them. But at the same time, if it's someone else who just showed up because of the cash prize, I mean, it's good for the community because you get that interaction. Um, and that's really what I want to provide to the community. Quality interaction, companionship, and just a nice environment. And that's what I want to give to people. It's also just, you know, something new to the city, and that's, I think, a pretty big deal.
Anyone else? Come on, you people. I know you have a hard-hitting question somewhere. Weazel News. Hit us with something. I think so. Isn't that the man with the camera?
Surprisingly.
All right, Miss King, you may ask one more. Can't have you turn into Judge Pierce, though.
No problem. So the thing earlier, Dvorak had said that you know, if people are sort of imbibing over their limit or, you know, smoking over their limit, that they are asked to leave. But previously, I think it was Riley who said that the people are asked to stay and talk to you and kind of like eat some food and chill out. So I'm just curious, you know, which one is it? Are you asking them to leave or are you asking them to stay?
No, very good question. I did notice that he said that as well, and Dvorak is not wrong, and Miller is not wrong. It's a case by case kind of thing. Obviously, when Dvorak has to get himself involved, at that point, the person who is overindulged is starting to become a little bit hostile, or just putting up, you know, causing problems. And so that's when he gets involved. When he gets involved, the person is asked to leave. However, we do make sure that they do have a friend to take them home, or a cab, or if they live nearby, we'll see to it that they get home safely. Maybe one of us will drive them in our personal vehicles. But if it's a friend who overindulges, then it's good to have somebody by you who can sit near you and kind of coax you through that. Because I don't know if anybody here has overindulged before, but it can be a little bit scary sometimes. And so having somebody to help you through that it's nice. It's a good thing. But at the same time, if someone is becoming hostile with us, then we cannot have them interacting with our customers and ruining the experience for them.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
If you guys do end up getting your permanent business license, do you guys plan on changing your prices or how you guys operate at all?
As far as we operate, no. As far as prices, yes. Prices in this industry have been very difficult to standardize, which is why my prices change every time that I open. They go down as of late. They have been going down. But yeah, the prices are going to change. That's for certain. As far as how we operate, outside of opening up our shop, I would love to sell out of our shop front as well. Not particularly. It's going to be that same kind of system where if we are going to cater an event, we're going to go to cater an event with 2 or 3 vehicles. If we're noticing a hive of activity, we'll pop up there and sell on the curb. That same kind of deal.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So, with that being said, this is typically how one goes. Since they're mobile, we don't really have the opportunity to go tour the property because it's mobile. So generally what we usually do is if it's like a restaurant or like a regular store that most people go to, we typically tour the property. we'll have everybody go. We'll go in a coach and look over it. With this, because they've been using it, they've been, using cars and mobile like that. They were able to show us their fleet, so I don't feel that it's necessary to go and tour those.
I do actually have a little bit of a base of operations set up, as if that is something that you wanted
Has that
to,
been something
show
that
them.
people have been going to frequently, or is it just something?
It's
that's
just
minor?
something, and I also
Yeah,
have the fleet posed up outside of that.
If it's not a storefront, then I don't think it's necessary. It'd be like showing us your office. We don't need to bring a crew of people there. A crowd.
Yes, we usually do that to see what people have done to work with what they have, with what they've been given, because we want to see the creativity. So your creativity has been the mobile platform, which is one of the ways that we ask people to be creative. So that's one of the ways, and you've done very well with that. So anyway, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to this presentation. What's going to happen now is the panel up front will stay here, as will the clerks, and we will vote on the permanent business license, and, well, you'll see if they will be permanent or not. I wish you all a good day. You can leave.